Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? This is Paul. God has qualified me to be your hip hop relationship and recovery coach, and I'm bringing to you the first installment of Move Mondays. Now, let me explain this. This is in no way, shape, form, or fashion designed to replace or eliminate kick your butt out. In fact, it is definitely an extension or a complement to kick your butt out, because what we're going to be talking about is what butts, right? We need to move out of the way so that we can walk in the greatness that's within each and every one of us. That's what Move Mondays is about. And I'm honored and privileged to be able to have this opportunity to share Move Mondays with many of you out there. So thank you so much for joining in. And I want to get into the content that we're going to be talking about in terms of Move Mondays. One of the reasons why I've decided to kind of add Move Mondays is because many of us on Monday morning, we dread getting up, going to work. I talk about it in many of the other episodes. Many of us go to jobs, as Les Brown said it. Many of us spend many of our years going to a job every Monday morning that we hate. And we want to get to a place in a position where we moving out what we hate so that we can walk in the greatness and of who we are. All right. So one of the cliches that I have created that I want to share about Move Mondays is this. So I'll say this before we get off into the content, and that is, if you don't move it, it'll move you. I'm going to say that again. If you don't move it, it'll move you. So what do I mean by that? Well, in this life that we are all living, for all of you all who are listening to this episode or this podcast, that means that you're alive. And there's too many of us that are at the bottom who are not supposed to be there. And it's partly because of the butts. It's partly because we won't move the butts, right, out of our way, so that we can get off of the bottom and get to that place that we're supposed to be. And what does that mean? What does the bottom mean for many of us? I'll talk about Monday mornings. Like I said, many of us go to these jobs on Monday mornings that we hate. And one of the reasons why we hate a lot of these jobs that we go to is because the jobs that we've been working on or at, so for all of these years, isn't the job of our purpose. I'll put it like this. Let me say it like this. I took a welding course because of the money, right? It talked about the benefits and the money that you can make as a welder, and welders do make a whole lot of money. Passed the class with flying colors, was one of the top in the class. Almost immediately, I was employed. And almost immediately, I found out that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. And I spent all of that time getting the education, working the job, looking for the job, doing the rest. I did all of the stuff that I needed to do to get the job. And that was what I considered me being at the bottom, because I spent and wasted all of this time getting educated and information on something that wasn't even who I am, wasn't even a part of my purpose. I did it because of the money and the benefits that came along with it. You're in the union, good retirement package, good vacation package, you name it. A lot of things went along with being a welder from if that's what you want to do as a career, one of the things I would encourage it. But if that's not what you're supposed to be doing, and I'm not just saying welders, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're not supposed to be doing that, and you're not doing what you need to do to kick that out or to move that out of the way so that you can walk into greatness, you're living at the bottom. Watch this, you're willingly living at the bottom. And again, now I'm dreading getting up, going to work on Monday mornings because I go to a job that I hate. I'm having road rage on the way to work. I'm having depression on the way to work. I'm having anxiety on the way to work. I'm snapping on people that didn't do anything to me. You name it, the list goes on and on. In some cases, by the time I get to work, I'm under the influence of some mood or mind altering chemical to cope with the fact that I got to be at this job that I hate. Or I'm taking some form of medication that helps me to cope with being at this job that I hate. That's a form of work of being at the bottom. And too many of us are willingly spending our lives and our time at the bottom. The list goes on and on of some of the ways that we could be at the bottom. We talked about it in church and in Bible study just recently, how many of us who are Christian, let me say that, or are believers, how we live at the bottom as believers. One of the ways that we live at the bottom as believers is because we say we saved, but we don't have a relationship with God. We say we saved, but we won't pray. We say we saved, and the last thing we'll do is pick up our word and read our word, study our word, and know our word. And then the devil is beating us up, life is beating us up, you name it. That's a form of living at the bottom. That's a form of, and it's too many of us out here who are believers that won't move whatever butts need to be moved out of our way so that we can rise from the bottom. There's too many of us out here that are doing it, right? I'm not going to talk about anybody. However, under the same token, I'm going to mention how many of us are living at the bottom as believers because we know more about politicians than we know about the word of God. We believe more in the lying, dishonest people that are our politicians than we believe in what the word of God says. We study them more than we study the word of God, right? This goes on and on. Too many of us are at the bottom. Too many of us are living at the bottom from a health standpoint. Again, the list could go on and on about some of the ways that we are choosing to willingly live at the bottom. So when it comes to that, what needs to move? We're going to start it on Mondays. Let's start moving stuff out of the way Monday mornings so that by the end of the week, we have gotten a lot of stuff out of the way and then it's allowing us to rise from the bottom into being who we are. Another thing, another thing that we need to move, another way that we continue to live at the bottom as well. Another but in our lives is that we don't count the costs when it comes to wasting money, time, energy, resources. We don't count the costs. You know, we'll spend money that we don't have, right, on stuff that we don't need to please people that we don't know or people that don't even like us. We don't even count their costs. But soon as here's the but. Here's what needs to move. Watch this. But soon as we get to a place where it's something that we could do to add value to our lives, to add to the quality of our lives, to add years to our life, to raise us from the bottom. Now we count the costs. Oh, it costs too much. Oh, you got to pay what? I got to pay this. It costs. Oh no, we counting the costs when it comes to something that's going to move us into our greatness. That's going to move the butt out of the way. That's going to make our Mondays, right? Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays a whole lot better, a whole lot lighter, and a whole lot brighter. We're going to count the costs. Oh, well, that costs too much. And again, watch this. We wasn't counting any of those costs when it came to doing some things that was keeping us at the bottom, keeping our butt in the way, and not moving whatever needed to move so that we could walk into greatness that's within each and every one of us. And like I always say, then you wonder why you're depressed. Then we wonder why we got anxiety. Then we wondering why we cussing out somebody that did absolutely nothing to us. Because I'm a firm believer. Let me say this. I'm a firm believer of road rage has everything, nothing, watch this, almost 100% nothing to do with the person that you enraged with, and almost 100% to do with who you are. Or who you believe you are, or what you won't move, or the butt that you won't kick out. It's almost 100%. Almost 100%. Let me put it to you like this. Watch this. Let me give you an example. And it wasn't road rage. However, it's a wonderful example of what needs to move. So a couple of weeks ago, I had the honor and the privilege of hanging out with Brother Robert Dixon, powerful man of God, an example of how God can turn darkness into light, a perfect example of his life exemplifies what needed to move so that he could walk into his greatness. His life exemplifies the butts that needed to be kicked out, right? So again, so that he can move into his greatness. This guy is a wonderful guy. And again, I'm honored and privileged to be able to have worked with him. So anyway, he is building his business from a fitness standpoint. 62 years old, don't even look it. 100%. All right. Now and I was, again, helping him. We set up a display on Lake Merritt in Oakland, California. We set up a display, his booth, his banner. We set up the weights and the benches and all of the things that went along with fitness, went along with working out. We set up all of that stuff. And we even did a video with me lifting some of the weights and him lifting some of the weights and doing like a circuit in terms of the exercises. It was awesome. I hope y'all get the opportunity to see it someday. Here's the but. Here's what needed to move. So he had his dog out there, big, beautiful dog. Dog's not mean, dog is nice. But when other dogs come past, he get a little riled up. Not to a point where he's trying to attack and kill dogs. He just does what dogs do. Now, all of these people who are walking up this lake with their dogs, 99.9% of them had their dogs on chain. Here comes this one lady, her dog, she's special, right? She's entitled because out of all of these dogs that are on their chains that the law speaks to that they need to be on their chains, she was the butt. But my dog don't need to be on the chain. So she didn't have her dog on the chain. And quite naturally, her dog was walking maybe 5 feet ahead of her. And they were coming towards the dog, my friend, Brother Robert's dog, who was chained up. He hadn't seen the other dog yet, but they're coming and I see them. And because I want to be responsible, and I want to make sure that her dog doesn't end up getting hurt, because he has this big dog and this was a little dog. I said, excuse me, with decency and order, I was nice, and my tone was low, whole 9 yards, excuse me. You may want to be careful, because this dog kind of get riled up when it sees another dog. I know what I'm doing immediately. I know what I'm doing. He walked past, she just went nuts on me, and I just nicely said, hey, I don't mean any harm. I'm just looking out for your safety. I don't know. That's what she did. Now, I 100% know that the way she snapped on me had everything to do with what she has not moved out of her life, or with the butt that's going on in her life. Because again, I said nothing offensive. Everything I said to this young lady spoke to safety. 100%. 100%. And that's an example of how we are choosing to live at the bottom, because if she wasn't living at the bottom, she would have welcomed what I said, especially with the fact that she was illegal. She was really illegal by not having her dog chained up on a leash. Let me say that, on a leash. So she was an example of too many of us at the bottom, right? She was an example of, if you don't move, it is gonna move you, because she was moved into a fence immediately, and I was nice as all get out to this young lady. And that's one of the things that I'm saying. What needs to move? And let's start this thing early. Let's start moving what needs to move. Maybe it's my mindset. Maybe it's some things going on with me. Some things I need to talk about. Some people that I need to get rid of. Some people that I need to add. Whatever needs to move. Let's move it on Monday. Let's get it started on Mondays so that we can get out of this I'm having a bad day of foolishness that many of us profess. Because like I said in many of my Kick Your Butt Out podcasts, God don't make bad days. He said it was good. And you're not God. You can't make a bad day. Furthermore, like I always talk about in my with my experience in my life, all of the moments in my day may not be favorable, but I do not allow them to dictate the course of my day. I don't allow them to dictate how I'm going to respond or respond to, or even treat someone. I'm just not going to allow it to happen. I'm experiencing something right now, but I'm moving the butts. I'm moving the butts because this still has to be done. Business still has to be taken care of. People still have to be taken care of. People still have to be loved. People still have to be poured into. So I'm moving what needs to be moved. And I promise you, the reason why I started this episode of Move Mondays is because I got some terrible news as I was on my way to doing what I've been called to do. When? Early Monday morning. So we're calling this series of podcasts. Again, it's an extension of Kick Your Butt Out called Move Mondays. So the next thing I want to talk about in terms of move, some of us, the only thing that moves us, that we move in or moves us is pain. What am I saying? The only thing that we operate in is pain, and not from a perspective of allowing the pain to benefit us. We operate in the pain that's keeping us in pain. And all we have to do is move. First of all, we got to move the mindset. That's the first way that things are going to be changed. Things are going to be moved. That's the first way that you're going to see to kick the butt out, right? And move whatever needs to move so that you can walk in your greatness. You got to change the thought process. And we have to stop. Why am I saying this? And how do I know that that's truth? Because I operated many years in my life in pain, and I operated willingly and continuously in pain. Pain was the only thing that moved me. And listen, it never moved me to my greatness. It always moved me to continue to multiply and add and multiply to the pain that I was already going through. Somebody said it like this. They say, you got a problem, you get high, now you got two. That's what I was doing in terms of my pain. I had pain, I got high, the pain continued to increase, right? It continued to multiply. And so I had to move some things. And the first thing I did was move my thought process as it went to pain, as it related to pain. And what that meant was I had to talk about this pain. I had to understand that it was pain and it was hurt. I had to talk about what was paining me and what was hurting me and move that thing out of the way, kick that butt out so that I could walk into my greatness. That's one of the reasons why I'm here today, is because I moved some stuff. That's one of the reasons why I'm here today, is because I kicked some butts out of my life. I'm still doing it to this very day, and I'm going to do it to the day I die, because I don't want to live at the bottom anymore. I refuse to live at the bottom anymore. And I want to help you all do the same thing. Let's move what needs to be moved so that we can get off the bottom, kick the butts out so that we can get off the bottom and move into the greatness that we all have to do. Because let me say this, if you are here on this earth, you still have purpose, whether you want to believe it or not. If you're still here on this earth, you have purpose. What is that purpose? You have to move some stuff to find it out. You have to move some stuff to find it out. And listen, people can't make you mad. I was taught this. Nobody can make you do anything that you don't want to do. So if you don't want to be mad, no matter what somebody does, you won't be mad. Stop living at the bottom. Again, if you don't move it, it's going to move you. Now, here's another reason why we can't move anything. It's because many of us out here doing too much. We doing too much moving. We moving in too many areas and too many places, doing too many things that has absolutely nothing to do with kicking our butt out or moving whatever needs to move out of our way so that we can walk in our greatness. I love the saying, you doing too much. You doing too much. My favorite book says, be still. It's a song by a wonderful gospel artist named Trent Green. And he talks about, it talks about everyone is moving, everyone is going somewhere. And he talks about to a place where I am not there. But when the noise is over, a still small voice you will hear. And that voice says, be still and know that I'm God. Stop moving. What am I saying? Sometimes you need to stop moving so that you can see what needs to be moved. And many of us don't get to move what needs to be moved. It's because we're doing too much moving and we're doing too much. I know of me, myself included. One of the reasons why I kept living at the bottom, one of the reasons why the butt they get kicked out, one of the reasons why I couldn't walk in my greatness is because I was doing too much moving by doing too much. 100%. 100%. And I want to help. That's why I'm here. I do what I do because I want to help, and I want us to help ourselves, and I want us to help one another So I'm gonna say this again. One of the reasons why you can't move anything out your way, one of the reasons why you can't kick the butt out, is because you're doing too much moving. You moving in too many different directions. You're moving in too many different directions. It makes me think about one of the things that Tyler Perry said. I talked about it in one of my episodes before, and I'm gonna say it again. He talked about, I think it was one of his Madea clips. He said, one of the reasons why we can't really accomplish what we can is because we planting too many seeds in too many different places at the same time. That's moving too much. That's moving too much. He said, what we need to do is plant 1 or 2 seeds, get that thing where it's starting to grow. In other words, get you a place where you walking in your greatness in that area and it's bearing fruit, right? It's growing. I'm preaching to myself, where it's growing, and then move to some other stuff that needs to be that you can do in terms of walking in your greatness and allowing something to grow. So I just this is the first of a lifetime of installments of Move Mondays, and I just want to say, listen, if you don't move it, it's gonna move you. What is it that you need to move so that you can walk into your greatness? And let's start that thing on Mondays. So these episodes will change from 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Mondays to 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Mondays. Because again, if we can get this thing going early in the morning, we can change the course of the rest of our day. So I'm asking everybody within the sound of my voice, move your butt out the way so that you can walk into your greatness. Listen, y'all, I love every last one of y'all. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. This is Paul. God has qualified me to be your hip hop relationship and recovery coach. And again, if you don't move it, it's going to move you. Until next time, be well. Do the next right thing. God bless you all. And if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one. Deuces.